Ladies and gentlemen, night one of WrestleMania 37 is officially in the books. Now, quick thoughts on the show before I get into the review. I thought this show tonight was a thumbs up. I'm going to give this show a thumbs up and a half. Now, what I loved about this show tonight was the simple fact that we got real fans back. Now, me, as the fact that I work at Yankee Stadium as a security officer, Yankee Stadium right now has like about what, 20% capacity? So it's about between 10 and 11,000. WrestleMania, not only for night one, but for night two, is going to have about 25,000 fans for WrestleMania. Now, for 25,000 fans at a football stadium that can easily carry about 65, close to 70, 75,000. They made a lot of noise tonight. And the fact that, you know, they have the cutout boards, yeah, like the cardboard cutouts and the fans there and everything else, it looked very well. The presentation for that was very, very well. The stage as well, I love the stage. In my opinion, I don't know about you guys, but you guys can sum up in the comment section. This stage for WrestleMania could be one of the greatest stages that they ever did. I love 33. I love the stage they had at 34, as well as 29. 30 wasn't that bad. 30 wasn't that bad. But, yeah, I thought, in my opinion, the stage that they put for WrestleMania this year was very, 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 very good. With the pirate ship and everything else, with the flags and shit, I love that. That little detail shit is what I love so much. But the simple fact that we got fans back for WrestleMania, only 25,000 though, which I really like about that. I didn't mind that at all. The presentation for everything else, the stage, the stadium and everything else looked very, very good. Night one of WrestleMania tonight, in my opinion, was a thumbs up show. Thumbs up, in my opinion. Now, by the way, before I do anything, I gotta give a special shout out to my boy Sourx with this beautiful layout. I can imagine the night two layout with Roman, Daniel, and Edge, with, amongst other superstars, for tomorrow night for night two. So, bro, Sourx, if you're watching, shout out to you, bro. Love you, bro. Great, always great talking to you, my brother. But also, I want to give a special shout out to the WrestleMania season group chat that I'm in with, you know, some of my softball teammates and stuff, other people and stuff like that. We were chatting all night about WrestleMania. It was good vibes, great atmosphere there in that group chat. But I thought WrestleMania was a thumbs up show. I can imagine night two tomorrow night. Night two for tomorrow night, folks, is looking pretty good for tomorrow night for night two. But we will go over everything for night one and what I thought was a thumbs up show. McIntyre and Lashley, very good matchup. That kicked off the show. Couple of good matches here and there. You know, Drew and Lashley. Clearly, that matchup that we got tonight was better than the match they had at Backlash last year at the Performance Center. We got Cesaro and Rollins. Great matchup. Cesaro finally got his WrestleMania moment. Thank Christ. Finally. It's my guy Cesaro. And I said on Twitter, I can see Cesaro having a big year in 2021. I can see Cesaro or Big E winning the Money in the Bank briefcase in 2021. For the men. The women, I have no idea. But for the men, two clear-cut favorites. Cesaro or Big E. No question about that. And then we got the Bad Bunny, Damian Priest tag team match against The Miz and John Morrison. Great matchup. Bad Bunny, yes, if you guys are watching this for the very first time and you don't know that Bad Bunny performed at WrestleMania, he did a fantastic, he blew me away. And at the same time, he looked nervous, but at the same time, he didn't feel out of place. He just felt energized. He looked energized. His body language, that he looked very excited and shit, but then again, nervous at the same time. And his entrance was very, very well. One thing I love about WrestleMania Night 1 tonight was the entrances. My bad. The entrances of everybody's entrances for Night 1. Very good stuff. One thing that I gotta give credit to World Wrestling Entertainment is the fact that their production is top notch. And I absolutely love that. So we got that tag team match with Priest and Bunny against Miz and Morrison. That matchup was great. And the fact that Miz and Morrison was selling their ass off for Bad Bunny, you know, major props to Miz and Morrison. Although Morrison should be on a singles run and Miz should be by himself, You got to give those two men credit because they really made Bad Bunny look like a legit superstar tonight. Then we had the debut of Omos. Looked fantastic. And I'll say my opinion as we talk about the matchup later on in the review. Omos' debut as well. Looked good. Looked good as well. And then Sasha and Bianca to main event night 1. History. First pair of black women to main event a WrestleMania match for a championship. Fantastic matchup. And I'm going to say this here. Was the matchup great? Yes. Did it feel like main event worthy? Absolutely. But was this the right outcome? No. But I understand why we have Bianca win the championship. It's not that I hate Bianca. I love Bianca. I love both Bianca and Sasha. I love both of them. It's just that, you know, I don't feel, as a wrestling fan, I don't feel yet that Bianca's ready yet. Yeah, sure, they gave it a Rumble, sure. But people will say, oh, but if you think that Bianca was ready, then why did they give it a Rumble? I don't know. They could have given it a Bayley for fucking crying out loud. They could have gave this Rumble match to Bayley. And then we get Sasha and Bayley at WrestleMania. But the fact that they gave Bianca Belair the championship, I understand why they gave it to her. I understand why. And we'll go over that reason as we get to the main event of the show. But we are going to go over everything here on WrestleMania 37, Night 1. If you guys don't know who I am Chris. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into the channel. If you guys thought the WrestleMania Night 1 was a very good show, hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment down below your thoughts of the show. Sound off in the comment section what were your thoughts and opinions of the show tonight. And also, if you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below and turn on that bell, guys, for all notifications. SmackDown review is live on the channel right now, as well as both Night 1 and Night 2 of NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. Lots of content on the channel right now, as well as Monday Night Raw review from the Go Home show from this past Monday. Link to all these videos will be not only down below in the description, but also in the annotation that you see on the upper right-hand corner of your screen, guys. Also, be sure to follow me on social media. Twitter at GoodVibesChris with an _. Instagram at GoodVibesChris183. And also, if you guys want to follow me on TikTok, you guys can follow me as well on TikTok at DaddyChris183. Let's kick off Night 1, shall we, for WrestleMania. So WrestleMania 37 gets underway at Raymond James Stadium, despite a weather delay. It is what it is, though. I mean, that is Florida weather for you. There you go. Raymond James Stadium with 25,000 large in attendance, and Vince McMahon standing on the stage with most of the roster. Vince says that this past year, the superstar performed tirelessly for the fans, but there was something missing. The most important thing of all, the fans. And I gotta agree with Vince on that standpoint. After a terrible year, on behalf of the entire WWE family, Vince welcomes everyone to WrestleMania. And then after that, we got Bebe Rexler attempts America the Beautiful, what was a beautiful rendition. We also saw Rhea Ripley get emotional during the show, during that opening segment of WrestleMania. As soon as the introduction video package airs, Michael Cole informs us that we're suffering another weather delay, and we'll have to wait a little while. I think the weather delay was about a good 40 minutes. Was about a good 40 minutes here. Earlier, there was another weather delay that saw the fans evacuate from the stadium, and some of the set got damaged. Hopefully, this one doesn't last too long, but we already know the first match of the night, and it's a big one with Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. Sarah Schreiber is backstage with Shane McMahon and asks how it feels to have the fans back. Shane says he has goosebumps, and having the fans is the energy boost that he needs to take out Braun Strowman inside the steel cage. Sarah says Shane has been bullying Braun, and Shane says he hasn't. He says he's been using his brain, unlike Braun, and he has a few surprises in store for the cage match. We'll go over that during the show. And what I thought was the second most weakest match in the entire show. So Lashley and MVP walk up and interrupt Shane. MVP says it's time for the talking is done. The moment is to be crowning the almighty era. He said the only thing Drew McIntyre understands is violence, and that's the only language Lashley speaks. I love it when MVP talks about Bobby Lashley. Just love it. Drew wants the championship back, but that isn't happening. McIntyre appears, tells MVP to keep talking while MVP does his best to keep them apart. Drew says he'll fight Lashley backstage if he has to. Mother Nature be damned. One thing I loved about this show tonight was how they were booking on the fly. And you can clearly tell with the interviews and stuff with Shane and Lashley and MVP and McIntyre and, you know, and New Day and Braun and Kevin Owens and stuff like that, and Bianca Belair, then Seth Rollins, you know. It was nice to see how they were booking on the fly. And I like stuff like that. Like, adjust quickly. And I love that, to be honest with you. I really do. Officials came to take Lashley away. Drew was asked where his head is at. And he says he's trying real hard to keep his emotions in check. A year ago, he had his huge moment. And he is so proud of everything he did. But he's got back to WrestleMania and a chance to win his title back in front of fans. But now the weather is trying to stop it. He doesn't care what happens. He's going to win that title regardless of where or how it happens tonight. Good promo here by Drew McIntyre. Good interview here by Drew McIntyre. New Day are interviewed backstage, and Woods says they've been anticipating returning fans for over a year, a month, and a day, to be exact. But it feels so much better when it could ever have imagined. They asked why they agreed to fight Styles and Omos, and Kofi says they love to take on all challengers, and that's why they are the best. Woods says they've been fighting big guys since they both started wrestling, and they can do it. They've been beating every team in the company. Big E randomly appears, and Woods talks about how great he is, and he will retain the Intercontinental Championship tomorrow night. Big E says we're going to see why the New Day are one of the greatest tag teams on earth, and we're blessed to witness it. So there you go from there. There you go. Right there and there. Braun Strowman is interviewed backstage, and he says he's anxious to get out there and shut Shane McMahon up. He's fighting for everyone who's ever been bullied or made to feel stupid. Shane has backed him into a corner and is going to beat Shane within an inch of his life. Again, we will talk about that matchup as we get to the review of the show. Kevin Owens takes the microphone. We're not seeing KO. We're not seeing KO until tomorrow. So I asked why. Yeah, sure. I get why KO is there, but we don't see him until tomorrow. So it is what it is. KO takes the microphone for himself backstage and recounts his history with Sami Zayn, going all the way back to 2002 when their matches in front of half a dozen in Quebec, Canada. They've been down this road 100 times over 20 years, but he can guarantee no two men have ever been held down and told they'd never make it as much as them. And now they get to do it once more on the WrestleMania stage tomorrow night. Sami Zayn is not the man he knew back then, and tomorrow night he will stun him. And if Logan Paul wants it, he'll be waiting as well. After that, the EST of WWE, Bianca Belair, is interviewed. Belair says she is not scared of or nervous. She is prepared and ready for this. She says she loves and craves competition. So she can't wait to get in there with Sasha Banks and walk out as women's champion. But the best part of all is having the fans back. And it's amazing. I can agree 100% on that with Bianca Belair. It was so good to have fans back after a year, a month, and a day. It felt good. Something about this show tonight felt right. And it's the fans. I said it on Twitter. The fans make the biggest difference, whether if it's a good show or a bad show. I said this on Twitter. In Yankee Stadium, they have about 10,000 people. 10,000 people in a stadium that can seat easily over 50,000 can make a lot of noise. Especially when it's 20% capacity. They can make a lot of noise. Raymond James Stadium tonight, I don't know what the percentage of capacity is there, but it's 25,000 people. 25,000 people in a football stadium can make a lot of noise. And that's something I can appreciate always. Next up for interview is Seth Rollins. Again, they're just booking on the fly. I like it. They're killing time so the rain can easily pass by. So Rollins is up. He laughs maniacally, and it says he loves the chaos of all of this. Kevin Patrick asks him about Cesaro, and Seth gets annoyed. Rollins says they can talk about anything, but he had to bring up Cesaro and the swing. Week after week, Cesaro has been disrespecting him, and he can only assume he's trying to use his star power to springboard into the stratosphere. Rollins says the rain will eventually leave, the stars will shine, The stars will shine. Hold up. Oh, my God. Hold up. I lost my notes. Oh, here we go. Perfect. Okay, here we go. So, back to my point here. Week after week, Cesaro has been disrespecting him, and he can only assume he's trying to use his star power to springboard into the stratosphere. Rollins says the ring will eventually leave, the stars will shine, and he will take care of Cesaro and put on one hell of a performance. And did they? They had one hell of a matchup on night one. The weather warning has passed and the fans return to the arena. So out comes the host of WrestleMania, Titus O'Neil and Hulk Hogan. One thing about Titus and Hulk Hogan here on this opening segment for the show. Titus looked a little bit uncomfortable. I don't know about you guys, but that's how I felt. Titus looked a little bit uncomfortable. His face expression really told the story there, if you ask me, because of the history that Hogan said a couple years ago, which I will not mention at all. Titus welcomes us to his city and says the WWE Universe has the energy we've been craving. Weather be damned. Hogan says we're going to make history tonight and tomorrow night, and we're going to get started right now with the first match of the night. And what you're going to do, brother, when WrestleMania runs wild on you. There you go. So the matchup, WrestleMania kicked off with the WWE Championship match between Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. Both men had incredible entrances here. One thing I love about WrestleMania is the creativity of the superstars when it comes to the entrances. It's such an amazing sight to see. Drew makes his way to the ring, and Drew looks like he was about to cry. That was the theme of the entire show tonight. After, a year, a month, and a day of not having fans at their events, on all the pay-per-views, this is the first time since March of last year where they had fans in their event. And I gotta say, it felt really, really good to hear that real live crowd reaction, because we're so used to the piped-in noise all year, not only in the Performance Center, but in the Thunderdome as well. So McIntyre came out. He looked like he was about to cry. I don't blame him. Last year as well. This matchup was great. And I'm going to say this right now. I said this earlier in the open. McIntyre and Lashley's match tonight was a whole lot better than their match at Backlash last year at the Performance Center. Whole lot better. This matchup was great. I was expecting Lashley and McIntyre to kick off the show, which they did. It was announced yesterday on Twitter, on social media. This matchup was great. I predicted that McIntyre was going to win this matchup. But then again, at the same time, I said Lashley, I wouldn't mind if Lashley retained the championship. I didn't think that they was going to go with Lashley to retain the championship, because I thought that Vince was going to recreate WrestleMania last year with McIntyre winning the championship in front of fans, because they couldn't do it last year because of the pandemic. That's what my mindset was. That's what everybody's mindset was. But Lashley has been booked the strongest outside of Drew McIntyre on Monday Night Raw last year, in the past year. Outside of Drew McIntyre, who was the second superstar that was booked the strongest? Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley. Lashley looked great here. And you heard some of the boos with McIntyre on the crowd. You heard some of the boos. I did. I heard some of the boos. Mostly cheers for Bobby Lashley, because nobody wanted Lashley to lose the championship. Guess what here, folks? Bobby Lashley retains the WWE Championship in what I thought was a very good matchup for me. So, Lashley was signaling for the Hurt Lock, but McIntyre comes up and Lashley can't believe it. They trade hands, but Drew catches him with a belly suplex, then 3 future shock DDTs. I thought that point in the match was going to be the end for Bobby Lashley. And Lashley kicks out. This is awesome. Chants, finally, a real crowd chanting, this is awesome. McIntyre goes to the corner, counts down for the Claymore, but Lashley rolls from the ring with MVP, only for Drew to leap over to the ropes and wipe them both out. I think there was a box there, in my honest opinion. I think there was a box there. Drew pulls Lashley back into the ring, gets on the top rope for a clothesline. Hold on. My bad. There you go. Anyways. Drew Drew puts Lashley back inside the ring for the top rope for the closeout, but gets caught and thrown across the ring. Lashley hits a reverse STO, then looks for the hurt lock, but Drew runs him into the buckles, which looked brutal there. I thought Lashley's head hit the top turnbuckle, and I thought Lashley was concussed at that point. Drew runs, and Lashley attempts for a spine buster, but McIntyre counts with a Kimura lock. McIntyre performing a Kimura lock? Brock? I know that's what you were thinking also. Lashley thinks about tapping, but gets to the bottom rope. Both men get up and trade right hands in a slugfest. Lashley runs into a big boot, and Drew hits a Glasgow kiss. Drew wants a Claymore, but MVP distracts him, and Lashley ducks it. Lashley drills Drew with a forearm in the corner, then applies the hurt lock. McIntyre falls to a knee, but climbs up, kicks off the turnbuckles, and rolls backward, but Lashley holds on to the hurt lock. He never let go of his grip. Drew held on, fought, until Drew McIntyre passed out. Let me put this in perspective here. Drew McIntyre did not tap out. Drew McIntyre passed out like Stone Cold with Bret the Hitman Hart back at WrestleMania 13. Drew didn't pass out. No, Drew didn't tap out. He passed out to the pain. He passed out. Bobby Lashley retains the WWE Championship in what I thought was a thumbs-up matchup. Very good matchup to kick off the show. The fans inside Raymond James Stadium seemed genuinely shocked at that result, but that was a very good match regardless. I think most people were expecting McIntyre to win back the WWE Championship on this specific night, but that isn't the case. Bobby Lashley retains the WWE Championship. The NWO backstage with Titus O'Neil when Bayley appears. Bayley tells him about her famous talk show and that she can have them on. It would be too sweet. Get it? Too sweet. You guys know what I mean. Nobody will give Bayley the too sweet gesture and walks off on her. I would have gave Bayley the freaking too sweet. Why not? I would have. Next matchup is the Women's Tag Team Turmoil. Two teams start the match, then more teams enter after a pinfall submission until there's one team left, and they get a title shot against Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax for night 2. I will not go over this matchup because I didn't really care for this matchup. Carmella and Billie Kay got eliminated by Naomi and Lana. Then Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan entered. Yeah, Carmella and Billie Kay got eliminated. They did. Did they? Yes, they did. I did hear that. No, Naomi and Lana got... I apologize. I will go over it again. So we got Naomi and Lana versus Carmella and Billie Kay. Naomi and Lana got eliminated by Carmella and Billie Kay. Naomi got pinned by Billie Kay. Let that sink in, folks. Naomi, a former SmackDown Women's Champion, gets pinned by Billie Kay. Just let that sink in, folks. I don't know. I don't know. So Naomi and Lana are gone. Then out comes Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan. Carmella and Billie Kay are gone. Good. Then Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke entered. Mandy Rose slipped and busted her ass. That was the botch of the night. Hilarious. Now I can see why I can see why Mandy Rose got... I can see why she slipped and fell because, you know, all that rain in Raymond James Stadium, of course. So, Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke enter. Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose are quickly gone just like that. So, we're down to the last team, which is Natalya and Tamina. Natalya and Tamina win. I was going for Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan to win this matchup. But Natty and Tamina win. They face Shayna and Nia in night 2, which I would say automatically Shayna and Nia will win this matchup. Tomorrow night and night 2. Simple. Just that simple. I didn't really care about this women's turmoil match. I just couldn't give a shit. To be honest, that was my bathroom break of this freaking night. To be really honest with you. We get Cesaro versus Seth Rollins on the third match of the evening. for night one. This match was great. What was that ad with Seth Rollins? That they had a woman talk and stuff about how Cesaro has been in the company for over 10 years and hasn't had a singles match at WrestleMania. Meanwhile, Rollins has accomplished this and that and this and that and this and that and this and that. It is what it is. Now, this matchup. I said it on Twitter. I thought Rollins and Cesaro was going to steal the show. At this point in the show, this was easily the best match of the show. Outside of Drew and Lashley, which had a great matchup. Cesaro and Rollins, for the amount of time that they got, was a very good matchup. They fought for 12, close to 15 minutes. Very good matchup here. Very good matchup here. Cesaro wins. Cesaro got this win from Rollins not once, but twice here. Cesaro looks for the neutralizer, but Seth flips him over. Hits the sling blade. Rollins goes to the apron. Hits the springboard knee. I could have seen this match for at least another 10 minutes. They went from about 12 to 15. I could have seen at least another 15 minutes out of these two. And it would have been possibly a classic. So Rollins goes to the apron. Hits the springboard knee. Then slams Cesaro for a near fall. Rollins goes to the top rope. Hits a corkscrew frog splash for a near fall. Great spot there by Rollins. I'm telling you. I may hate Seth Rollins sometimes when it comes to him outside with the interviews and shit. But when it comes to in-ring, and when it comes to promo work, Rollins is one of the best on the planet. Not the best on the planet, one of the best on the planet when it comes to that. Rollins' in-ring work has been very, very good. Very good. Rollins wants the ripcord knee, but Cesaro avoids it. Lands the neutralizer for a near fall. Cesaro looks like he's starting to doubt himself. Cesaro counters Rollins into an incredible neutralizer attempt, but Seth reverses into a pedigree, but Cesaro kicks out. I thought Rollins was going to win that match there with the pedigree. Rollins trash talks to Cesaro, telling him he survived the swing and the neutralizer. Rollins forearms the back of his head, then hits a running kick to the back of the head. Rollins lines up to stomp, but Cesaro catches him with an uppercut. You couldn't pay me the money in the world to take an uppercut from Cesaro. No way. No way. Cesaro Rollins hits Seth with a UFO, a spinning torture rack with no hands. Before letting Rollins fly across the ring, Cesaro performs a swing for record-breaking 23 rotations. Somebody give him some Advil and a bottle of water after that. Then hits a neutralizer and pins Seth Rollins. This match was fucking awesome. Great matchup here by Cesaro and Seth Rollins. I said it on Twitter. Cesaro finally gets his WrestleMania moment. I'm expecting big things from Cesaro in 2021. If there was to be a Money in the Bank ladder match this year, and you had to pick a winner for the men's side, it would have to be Cesaro winning that briefcase, or not Big E. Because I think Big E is going to drop the IC title tomorrow night to Apollo Crews, and then we get that build-up for Big E going towards the Universal Championship after WrestleMania, around the summertime. But like I said, I expect Cesaro to have a big year. This is a big victory for him. His very first singles match at WrestleMania in over 10 years. He gets a victory over Seth Rollins, who has accomplished a lot in his career. In the amount of time Rollins has been in the company, he's accomplished a lot, but Cesaro beating Rollins, it's a lot there to say. It's a lot there. So big ups to Rollins and Cesaro for this matchup. Fantastic matchup in my opinion. Was the third best match of night one. Third best match of night one. I would have to say in order, from best matches to worst matches, I would say Sasha and Bianca was the best match of night one. Followed by Bad Bunny and Priest with Miz and Morrison. That's tied with them. And then Cesaro and Rollins, third best match. And then Drew and Lashley, fourth best match of the whole show. So far, for night one. So as soon as the match ends, Cesaro holds his head in his hands in emotion. He won his first ever WrestleMania singles match, and it's the biggest match of his career. Cesaro finally won the big one. folks. We see the highlights of the Untitled Chapter Memorial Battle Royal from last night. SmackDown, which they also won. Also last night, Bobby Roode, I shall not call him Robert, and Dolph Ziggler retain the SmackDown Tag Team titles in a fatal four-way match. Roode and Ziggler are interviewed backstage and asked for the predictions on New Day and AJ and Omos. Ziggler says New Day are one of the all-time great teams, but sunshine rainbows can only get you so far. Roode says he's known AJ a very long time, and you should never bet against the phenomenal one. That I can agree with, Mr. Bobby Roode. Big E comes out to the stage, do a live introduction for his boys. Usually he does it in Gorilla, but the fact that Big E did it in front of the fans tonight was a really cool touch. It was a very cool touch. The Raw Tag Team Champions are being defended next, and this marks the in-ring debut of Omos. Now, we get this Raw Tag Team title match with the New Day and against AJ and Omos. This match was not good. Wasn't bad. It wasn't good either. Only thing I was looking forward to in this match was Omos. That's the only thing I was looking forward to. Was to see how Omos would perform. Now AJ, I would like to say AJ competed in, I guess, 90% of this matchup was all AJ. 90% of this match was AJ because they wanted to build up the anticipation of Omos getting tagged in. Which I didn't mind at all. AJ gets thrown back into the ring and Kingston hits a crossbody. Woods tags in and AJ counters a back suplex but misses an enziguri, and Kingston hits a huge springboard splash from the back to the back for a 2 count. New Day looks for a double team move, but AJ knocks Kofi from the ring and Woods is stuck on the top rope. So Styles tags Omos and the stadium popped. The stadium popped for Omos. One of the biggest pops of the night was for Omos, making his in-ring debut. Omos comes in to the middle of the ring and Woods kicks him to no effect. Woods then hits a drop kick, but bounces off. Woods attempts a crossbody, but Omos doesn't even move. Holy shit. Kingston tags in and attempts a flying axe handle, but Omos catches his hand and throws him. Like nothing. Omos threw Kingston as if Kingston was a sack of potatoes. Omos says he's been looking forward to this before whipping both New Day to opposite corners and splashing them. Very good so far. Omos hits Woods with a backbreaker, then holds him over the knee and bends him. Omos lifts Kofi with one hand for another backbreaker. Omos stands by the ropes and AJ jumps off the shoulders with a phenomenal forearm to Kofi. Omos lifts Kofi, hits a massive spine buster, then stands with one boot on Kofi and gets the 1, 2, 3. AJ Styles and Omos are the new Raw Tag Team Champions. And my boy Kevin was FaceTiming me earlier telling me, this isn't fair. I'm like, listen, Omos is 7'3". Omos is 7'3". That is a one big boy. I said this on Twitter. I said on Twitter also. I said, World Wrestling Entertainment has something in Omos. This match, by the way, this match was not good. Wasn't bad, but not good at the same time. I just wanted to see how Omos would perform. And he performed well. Very well. I said this on Twitter that World Wrestling Entertainment has something big in Omos. If they can work on Omos' promo work and his in-ring ability and to see what he could do and what he can't do in the ring, and you exercise his strengths to see what he can do, they got a huge superstar on Monday Night Raw and Omos. Not gonna lie to you, this was a good debut for Omos. Good debut. Only reason why I cared for this matchup was to see how Omos would perform. And he performed very well. He didn't fuck up. He looked good. He had a great presence. He's a big motherfucker. I'll tell you that much. Omos and AJ are your new Raw Tag Team Champions. Steel cage match. I didn't care for this matchup whatsoever. Braun Strowman. Braun! Versus Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon. They could have just done that with him, though. That would have been great. To bring that back, that would have been great. Did not care for this steel cage match whatsoever. But the ending here really made me scratch my head. Yeah, sure, Braun won the matchup, but how Braun won the match was beyond me. How Braun won the matchup made me scratch my head. We'll go over the ending right here. So Shane stops halfway down the cage and taunts Braun, who jumps up and grabs his hand through the cage. Good spot there, by the way. Braun climbs up the ropes, literally rips the cage wall apart, literally and figuratively, and drags Shane back inside. On the top ropes, Braun plummels Shane into the corner of the cage with the hands, then throws him on top of the cage and climbs up alongside him. Now this is where I'm confused here. Braun holds Shane up, shouts at him, then tosses him off the cage into the middle of the ring. You figured at that point, Braun was going to cover Shane at that point. No. He doesn't. Insane spot, though. Insane spot. Braun climbs back down inside, and Shane is done. Like, he's, like, laying there like nothing. Like a fucking corpse in the ring. Braun shouts that this is for everyone who's ever been bullied, then hits the running power slam and pins Shane. I know, that made you scratch your head too. I know. But it is what it is, though. Braun wins. Hopefully this is the end of the feud. I didn't really care for this matchup. We all knew Braun was going to win this matchup. We all knew that for sure. We all knew. So after that, Bayley interrupts the announce team to pull herself over and to stand on some highlights from the 2020 Hall of Fame ceremony. We saw JBL, the NWO, the Bella Twins, who I think are not Hall of Famers in my honest opinion. The reason why Nikki is even in the Hall of Fame is because of John Cena. That's just me. JBL, JBL had that one good feud with Eddie Guerrero. That was it. And then that one feud with John Cena as well. Two of JBL's greatest feuds was with Eddie and John Cena. Titus O'Neil, who obviously got the Warrior Award this year, and the family of the British Bulldog, long overdue, was for the British Bulldog. Long overdue. Justin Thunder Liger also made the Hall of Fame. Good for him. And the celebrity wing is William Shatner, who was very good friends with Jerry the King Lawler. I don't really mind the Hall of Fame clash this year. I don't really mind it. I'm just waiting for Undertaker to get inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I'm going to be there with Alex. Alex, hope you're watching, bro. When Taker gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, we're going to be there. We're going to be there, Alex. Just know. We're going to be there. Just know. I will book a first-class ticket to that city where Taker is getting inducted. On me. Just saying. It's time for the second to last match to outcome a dozen or so of bunnies. Now, Frank in the group chat was telling me some of them had only one bunny ear. Holy shit. The rabbits dance in the ring. Hop, 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 hop. Fucking cringe. The rabbits dance in the ring. Hop, 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 hop. As Miz and Morrison come down and sing their song, Hey, hey, hop, hop. Again, hey, hey, hop, hop. Fucking awful. Hell, my 14-year-old sister can make a better song than Hey, hey, hop, hop. Priest is out second, and the way Priest's entrance looked was fucking amazing. Braun's entrance looked good. Shane's entrance looked good. Who else is AJ's looked good. The New Days look pretty well here with the intro with Big E. Cesaro's entrance looked very, very good. Rollins as well. Most of the women's entrances didn't look that bad. Drew's entrance looked very, very good, and so did Lashley's as well. Everybody's entrance looked very, very good on the show tonight. Everybody. So good on World Wrestling Entertainment for doing that kind of production. But the one entrance I loved the most in night one was Damian Priest. You know, with the fire going all over the stadium and shit. Him signaling with the bow and arrow. Fucking love it. That presentation was just on fire. Literally and figuratively. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. But Bad Bunny's entrance was even better. Bad Bunny arrives on the top of a semi-truck with sparks flying everywhere, and the fans are loving it. Meanwhile, Booker T is on commentary for this matchup. Oh yeah, by the way, Jerry King Lawler was on commentary with the Braun Shane cage match as well. Forgot to mention that as well. The star of the matchup was Damian Priest and Bad Bunny. I didn't think that, you know, Bad Bunny... I mean, I thought the match was going to be terrible. I mean, then again, you got Miz and Morrison. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, okay, let me give this a shot. Let me give this match a shot and see how it goes. The build to this match was fucking awful. I can tell you that now. We were supposed to get Miz against Bad Bunny for WrestleMania, one-on-one. But because Morrison and Priest were cleared to go, because I think Priest had an injury, I think Priest almost had a broken nose from The Undertaker. Because Taker and Priest were training at the Performance Center. And I read an article that Taker almost broke Priest's nose during a training session. And then Morrison, I think, had a knee injury in a matchup against Matt Riddle on Raw just a couple of weeks ago, just a few weeks back. But they were both cleared, and I said, you know what, fuck it, let's have a tag team match. So there you go from there. I like this matchup, though. Match was great. And before this tag team match, Rollins and Cesaro had the match of the night. They had the match of the night. Until this tag team match came up. Priest and Bad Bunny looked fucking awesome together. Now, I'm not going to say that, yo, they should be like a permanent tag team and go after the Raw tag team titles, but Bad Bunny, for a celebrity that's wrestling in the ring, did very, very well. He surprised the shit out of me. Did a Hurricane Rana, a Canadian Destroyer on the outside with to Morrison. Very good stuff. And the one thing I like about Bad Bunny, in the beginning of the matchup, he looked a bit nervous. As he was coming down towards the ring, doing his entrance, he looked a bit nervous. He did. But as the match went on and the match progressed, his body language, his face expression, and everything else, you know, was good. The way he performed in the ring was good. He didn't botch at all. He was very good in this matchup. Very good. Good stuff. Priest, man, let me tell you something about Damian Priest. Priest is going to have a good year. I'm not worried. I mean, as of right now, I'm not worried about Priest getting buried on Monday Night Raw. But, you know, with that, you never know factor, you know, it is what it is. But, I will say this, though. Priest is going to have a dominant year in this company. I can feel it, I can sense it. You can tell how WWE is high on Damian Priest. You can tell. He looks, they are so high on him. It's not even funny at this point. But we'll go towards the end of the matchup here. And one thing I will say about Miz and Morrison, although I hate both of them, and I think how John Morrison should be on a singles run, going for either the U.S. title or the coveted WWE Championship. And I hate the Miz also. I hate the Miz. I always have hated the Miz. Except for that rivalry he did with Dolph Ziggler back in 2016 over the IC title. The professionalism of Miz and Morrison really showed in this matchup. They were selling really hard, not only for Bad Bunny, but they were selling for Priest also. Their main goal for this matchup, although we know they was going to take the loss here, we know for a fact that Miz and Morrison, we all knew all they had to do was to make Priest and Bad Bunny look good. And that's exactly what they did in this matchup. This matchup was great. Great. Was this match better than Cesaro and Rollins? At this point, maybe. It's tied. It's tied. Neck and neck. Pretty much tied here. So, Priest hit the chokeslam to Miz, but Morrison breaks it up. Bunny runs in and hits Morrison. Then he and Priest hit stereo suplexes for near fall. Now, actually, Priest and Bunny, they both hit Falcon arrows. Bad Bunny performed a Falcon arrow, which looked picture just fucking awesome. Bad Bunny made that look easy. Very good spot there. So he and Priest hit stereo suplex, which is the Falcon arrow, for a near fall. Miz and Morrison roll outside, so Bunny Irish whips Priest into the ropes, and he hits a springboard tope onto both of them. Bunny then goes on top, hits and leaps towards on the Miz and Morrison on the floor with a crossbody. Priest drags Miz back inside, wants to hit the Reckoning, or tries to hit the lights. But Miz counters with the Skull Crusher finale, and Bunny breaks it up. The fans chant for Bunny. Priest looks to make a tag, but Morrison pulls Bunny off the apron, only for Bunny to kick him and hit a Canadian Destroyer on the outside. I'm telling you, man. Bad Bunny's watching NXT. I think Bad Bunny is watching Adam Cole in NXT. Because nobody in NXT hits a picture-perfect Canadian Destroyer than Adam Cole himself. Miz and Priest look shocked in the ring. Miz runs, but Priest kicks him back, lifts him up with an electric chair, and Bunny tags in for a flying crossbody up the top. Bunny pins the Miz and picks up the victory. In what I thought was a very, very good matchup here. Fantastic matchup here in this tag team match. Night 2 WrestleMania will once again be hosted by Titus O'Neil and Hulk Hogan tomorrow night. Hopefully the weather's more better and the show starts on time. Matches include KO versus Sami Zayn, which I'm guessing that will kick off the show. Orton against The Fiend. Big E versus Apollo Crews in a Nigerian drum fight for the IC title. Ripley versus Asuka for the Raw Women's title, which should be the best women's match so far. Hold on. Patty, I'm here. Nah, I'm recording. Patty, if you're watching this video right now, I'm recording by this point. So there you go. I keep fucking up here. There you go. There you go. So Asuka and Rhea for the Raw Women's title tomorrow. Should be a great women's match tomorrow night. Riddle versus Sheamus for the US title. Also should be good. And the main event with Roman Reigns, Edge, and Daniel Bryan for the Universal Championship. The kickoff show tomorrow will start at 7 with the main show starting at 8 p.m. Main event time, folks, for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair in what I thought was a killer main event. This main event was awesome. This match felt like a main event. It felt like a big fight feel in this main event. Both Sasha and Bianca were trying to hold on to their emotions as they were not only making their entrances, but the introduction before the bell rang. So, I will say this though, before I review the matchup. Was this match great? Yup. 100%. Yes. Was this a WrestleMania main event worthy type matchup? Abso-fucking-lutely. But, was this the right outcome? In my opinion, I don't know about you guys might feel a different way from me, but in my opinion, was this the right outcome? No. And I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why as I review the show here, as I review the matchup here, as we get towards the ending. So, I love the spot here where Sasha gets on the apron, but Banks runs her into the ring post. Banks then dives through the ropes with a suicide dive, but Bianca Belair catches her, lifts her into a military press, then carries Banks up the fucking ring steps and throws her back into the ring. That shows you the athleticism of Bianca Belair. Fucking amazing is this woman. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. We'll go over the rest of the matchup here. Back inside the ring. Both women are about to make it back into the ring after a meteor against the barricade, but Belair moves, so she crashes. They beat the ref's 10 count. Back inside the ring, Banks looks for an inside cradle, but Belair lifts her up into the air for a stalling suplex, during which she bounced Sasha off the ropes for a few times and did some squats. Both women are down and slowly get to their feet. Banks drops Belair with a right hand, then grabs her by the braid and attempts a springboard arm drag, but Belair forearms her. Belair drives Sasha, then hits a standing suicide press. Belair shoulders the champion into the corner, hits a release glam slam. Belair goes on top to the top rope, leads a 450 splash, but Banks got her knees up. Both women attempt pinfall, but Sasha gets caught and powerbound twice for a 2 count. Belair attempts a third powerbomb, but Sasha countered with a face buster. Banks stomps Belair into the corner, hits a springboard toward the DDT for a near fall. Banks goes to the top rope, hits a 5-star frog splash. Fucking perfect. Beautiful there. For another near fall. This when the match started to, pick up his pace here. Belair rolls to the apron, but Banks slams her down by the arm, then drags her outside and tosses her into the steel steps. Banks pulls Belair inside and attempts the bank statement using the braid. Belair tries to get to the rope, but Sasha rolls backwards, only for Bianca to immediately roll forward to grab the ropes. Belair gets angry. Well, Banks gets angry. I'm sorry about that. Banks gets angry, holds on to the move until the count of 4, then kicks Bianca in the face a few times. There was a kick that legitimately connected with Bianca Belair's cheek. Like, a little bit like the slow motion, and just pow! Just straight clocks her. So Banks lifts Belair and tells her she'll never be the EST, but that just made her angry. Belair shoulders Banks in the corner, then lifts her onto the top rope. Sasha gets Belair into the tree of woe, stomps her a few times, then looks for a double stomp, but Bianca dodges it. Belair attempts a Meteora, but no one's home, and she hits the buckles. Belair hits the 450 splash, but Banks kicks out. I thought Belair was going to win the match up there. Belair gets mad, lifts Banks up for the KOD, but Sasha lands on her feet and grabs the hair again. Sasha runs, but Belair smashes her across the ribs with the hair. Belair lifts her for the KOD again, but Banks slides off, attempts the bank statement, only for Belair to turn around, hits her with the kiss of death, and hits the pinfall, becomes the new SmackDown Women's Champion. Now, I forgot to mention. Oh yeah, I did mention when Sasha runs and Belair smashes her across the ribs with the hair. The fucking sound of Belair's hair braid smacking the flesh of Sasha's ribs was ear-piercing. Holy shit. It actually sounded like it was a fucking whip that was whipping Sasha Banks. So from there, Belair hits her with the KOD again, but Sasha slides off, attempts the bank statement again, only for Belair to counter, turn around, hits her with the KOD, the kiss of death, and gets the pinfall as Bianca Belair becomes the new SmackDown Women's Champion. And that ended off night 1 of WrestleMania as fireworks goes all over the stadium to conclude night 1. I'm going to sit here, folks, and tell you why the outcome was not good. I will sit here, folks, and tell you why this is not the right outcome. Sasha needed this victory more than Bianca Belair. Belair's not going anywhere. That's 1. 2, Sasha is only 27, 28 years of age. And she's already a future Hall of Famer. The things that Sasha Banks has accomplished in a career is Hall of Fame worthy. Hall of Fame worthy. But in order for her, to be an all-time great, which I think she kind of is, but at the same time she's not, and I'll tell you why. She's 0-6, folks, now at WrestleMania. 0-6. 0-6. Becky's got a WrestleMania win. Charlotte, if you think about the 4 horsewomen, Bayley, Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha, Bayley has a WrestleMania win. Charlotte has a WrestleMania win. Becky Lynch has a WrestleMania win. Sasha does not. So 3 out of the 4 horsewomen has a WrestleMania victory. Sasha does not. That concerns me. When will Sasha ever get that WrestleMania victory? Now, don't get me wrong. I didn't mind Bianca Belair winning the Rumble. I didn't mind it. But at the same time, I was pulling for Bayley because the rivalry between Bayley and Sasha Banks was so good that all they needed to officially complete that rivalry was a WrestleMania match, which Bayley and Sasha has never had one-on-one against each other. Which is why I didn't mind Bianca winning, but then again, I was low-key going for Bayley to win this match so we get Bayley and Sasha at WrestleMania, because Bayley already has a WrestleMania victory. You want to get Sasha Banks a WrestleMania victory, you have her beat Bayley at WrestleMania. And Sasha gets her very first WrestleMania victory at WrestleMania on the biggest stage of them all. But instead, they went with Bianca, which I didn't mind. I don't mind Bianca. I love Bianca. I don't mind it. She comes in the WrestleMania. In her WrestleMania debut, she pins Sasha Banks and becomes the new SmackDown Women's Champion. I don't mind it. Again, I don't mind it. I see why they gave Belair the championship, because you want to build new stars on SmackDown. You want to build new stars. This is a way of building stars. Have them win the Rumble and have them come into WrestleMania and win that said championship at that show. I don't mind it. But then again, in my opinion, Sasha Banks should have won this matchup. Bianca Belair is not ready yet for the SmackDown Women's Championship because of this build that we was getting between Sasha and Bianca. I felt that because of this whole damn feud, I felt that Bianca Belair was not ready yet for the SmackDown Women's Championship. She wasn't ready for that spot. But they gave it to her. The matchup was great. Like I said, the matchup was great. It was a WrestleMania main event type worthy matchup. But again, was this the right outcome? No. In my opinion, no. People could say, yeah, this was the right outcome. But in my opinion, it wasn't the right outcome. You could have built up Bianca Belair more and more and more, at least to the summer. Minimum time, at least the summer. But it is what it is, though. It was a good moment for Bianca Belair. It was a good moment. And especially when I watched her WWE Chronicle episode earlier today. I watched it. It was a very good episode. Emotional episode, but it was very good. So, there you go. Those are my thoughts on it. Leave a comment down below your thoughts of the matchup as well. And that, folks, is the end of WrestleMania 37 Night 1 review. Folks, that is it. Well, we went over an hour. I can imagine Night 2 for tomorrow night. This was a thumbs up show. Thumbs up show tonight. Not gonna lie to you. Everything felt good. The setting, the crowd, the stage, everything was right. The simple fact that we're getting live fans back at this show was just fucking amazing. And I love the fact that we get to finally hear live crowd noise at a live event for WWE. And I love it. Night 2 tomorrow night, soak that in as well, because I think after WrestleMania, I think Raw and SmackDown is going to go back to the Thunderdome with the virtual crowd, which I don't like. Vince can easily go back, having a certain percentage of crowds at the arena. I think that Raw's doing. I think in Jacksonville, I believe, somewhere in Jacksonville. Some arena there in Jacksonville. Vince can easily have fans there every single week for Raw and SmackDown. I hate the piped-in noise. I just hate it. I absolutely hate it. But it is what it is. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is the end of Night 1 review. Tomorrow will be Night 2. Night 2, I'm expecting to fucking kill for Night 2 tomorrow night. If you guys enjoyed the review, hit the like button. Leave a comment down below your thoughts of the show. And also, if you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on bell, guys, for notifications. SmackDown review is live on the channel right now, as well as Night 1 and Night 2 of NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver, as well as Raw review from this past week. A loaded piece of content over the past week. Link to all these videos will be in the annotation above that you see on the upper right hand corner of your screen, as well as down below in the description. Make sure you guys are following me on social media. Twitter at GoodVibesChris_, Instagram at GoodVibesChris183, and TikTok at DaddyChris183. I will see you guys tomorrow for night 2 of WrestleMania. I'm expecting night 2 to be a whole lot better. Night 1, thumbs up show. I can imagine night 2 tomorrow night, as I will cover it right here on the channel for you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow for night 2. Hit that like button, leave a comment down below, share the video on social media, and I will see you guys tomorrow for night 2 for WrestleMania 37 review. Till then, I'm Chris. Have a good night. Talk to you guys later.